please hit that subscribe button. Hey everybody, better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Locked on and he scored! And we're live. Hey everybody, so it's Friday, which means it's time for another episode of NHL Remember Him. And today we're going to be talking about one of the best defensive forwards in the NHL through the 2000s, center John Madden. Now, before we begin, I just ask that you please hit that subscribe button if you're new. Give this video a thumbs up if you haven't yet. Both of those things really help out and are very, very much appreciated. But let's get into it here. Center John Madden, who spent his majority of his career with the New Jersey Devils, won multiple Stanley Cups, and was one of the most well-known and best defensive-minded forwards in the NHL during his career. Really mostly known for his defensive play. And a really good middle lineup, mostly third-line center. That was a big part of some very, very good teams. So, John Madden was undrafted. He played college hockey at the University of Michigan, but he went undrafted in the NHL, but he signed as a free agent with the New Jersey Devils in 1997. Madden put up pretty big numbers offensively in college and in the AHL. He played a couple seasons in the AHL before making the jump to the NHL. But those offensive numbers really never followed him to the NHL. At the top level, it was really his defensive play that got him noticed and what really made him such an effective third-line center at the NHL level. He went on to play 898 games in the NHL, scoring 165 goals, 183 assists for 348 points and a +20 rating. And on top of that, in the playoffs, he played 141 games in the postseason, scoring 21 goals, 22 assists for 43 points and a -2 rating. He is a 3-time Stanley Cup champion, twice with the Devils in 2000 and in 2003, and once with the Chicago Blackhawks in 2010. After signing with the Devils, he made his NHL debut in the 1998-99 season, but his first full season was 99-2000. And he went on to win the Stanley Cup in his rookie year with New Jersey. And he played with the Devils all the way from 1998 through 2009. Then he signed a one-year deal as a free agent with the Chicago Blackhawks in 2009-2010 and went on to win the Stanley Cup in his only year in Chicago, making that his third Stanley Cup win of his career. He then played a year with the Minnesota Wild in 2010-2011 and finished up his career with the Florida Panthers in 2011-2012, but only played 31 games that season. And he retired after that year. So he finished up with Florida, but certainly best known for being a New Jersey Devil and his years with the New Jersey Devils. And those were certainly the best years of his career. He won the Selke Trophy in 2001. That was the only major award that outside of the Stanley Cup, but that was the only major individual award that he won in his career. And he only had 38 points that season. So, when you think of the Selke Trophy now, it's guys like Patrice Bergeron and Ryan O'Reilly and Sean Couturier. These are guys who score 60, 70 points in a season. They're top-line centers, but they also are very, very good defensively. John Madden, the year he won the Selke Trophy, only had 38 points, which actually for him was a pretty decent year. So that just goes to show you how good defensively he was. He was without a doubt the top defensive forward that year. Because he was able to take home that award without having, high point totals like you see now with Selke winners who are kind of, great defensive players but still putting up first-line level points. John Madden was a third-line center, and for him to win an individual award like that just shows how great he was defensively. He was never a big point producer. He was in college, he was in the AHL, but at the NHL level, his career high in points in a season was 43, and he only had 2 years where he hit 40 or more points. Most of the time, his point totals were in the 30s somewhere, or even down in the 20s later in his career. But he was very defensive minded and defensive focused, and that's what made him the player that he was and made him sought after and wanted in the NHL. He wasn't there to score a lot. He was there to shut down the other team's offense. He was a great penalty killer. He had a lot of shorthanded goals in his career, and he just focused on lockdown defensive play. And he was on some very, very good teams. Obviously, he played 141 playoff games in his career. So he was in the playoffs a lot, especially with New Jersey. 3-time Stanley Cup winner. Just a really, really good player. And somebody that feel like if you're a little younger and don't really, didn't see him in his heyday with New Jersey, you kind of don't realize how good he was, because he certainly tailed off at the end of his career. His year with Chicago was pretty good, but when he went to Minnesota, he was certainly nearing the end at that point. And his last year in Florida, he really didn't do a whole lot. So if that's how you remember him, you probably don't have a great idea of just how good John Madden was back, in his prime. But if you remember early and mid 2000s John Madden with New Jersey, you know what an incredible middle of the lineup center he was, and shut down defensive player, and really a big piece of those New Jersey Devils teams that were so good in the early and mid 2000s. And obviously he has the Stanley Cups to show for it. And he was just a phenomenal third line defensive minded center, and had a great NHL career. It wasn't a super long career, but it was a very good one. And obviously he has the Stanley Cup rings to show for it, and the Selke Trophy award, and the almost 900 career games played. So yeah, John Madden was a heck of a guy through the 2000s, and really kind of set the bar for defensive shutdown centers through that prime part of his career, without a doubt. So that does it for NHL Remember Him, John Madden. I certainly do. He all the way from New Jersey, all his stops. I watched him, my entire life, and he was a heck of a player to watch and a great defensive mastermind. So with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description. If you'd like to further support the channel, links to our Patreon merchandise store and donation link are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.